DreamHack Open is brought to you by Corsair, Intel, and Monster Energy.
As Virtus.pro bow out of the competition, Cloud9 live to fight another day. But now it's time to get into our second elimination game of the day as Sprout take on Heroic. My name is Vera, your host up here on the desk all weekend long. And joining me up on this wonderful desk are Maniac and Potter. Guys, that was a roller coaster. That first game was an absolute roller coaster. Are we expecting the same for the second matchup?
I mean, it was a roller coaster, but I don't think VP wanted to go on that one. I think they would rather not just stay on the ground and have a good time, maybe eat some candies, because that was absolutely terrible from VP. But let's not open that box. It's done. I have to accept what happened. Now we have another game coming. Very exciting one at best. And Sprout, they'll have to do a little bit better than yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, let's hope so. You know, thinking about that roller coaster ride, I think Sprout are probably a little bit too short for some of the rides, at least from yesterday's point of view.
Enough, no?
Right, exactly. So 4 rounds is certainly not enough. I do think, though, I mean, we saw the last play of the day in those top 5 plays, DreamHack coming out and just showcasing his mechanical prowess, you know, and I think if they're able to hone in on their just gifted skills instead of trying to overthink some things. We saw VP overthinking. It certainly didn't work out for them. So hopefully Sprout just hone in on their skill sets.
Yeah, I was just doing the math. It's 25% of Sprout that the rounds they won were actually very impressive. That's a very good stat. They won 4 rounds, but one of them was a play of the day.
Well, hopefully they can live up to those expectations coming into today. But if you missed any of the action yesterday, fear not, we're going to give you a little bit of a recap of our Group B bracket, which shows you how all the teams got here. Of course, North taking down Sprout 16-4. That was an absolute whitewash of a showing. And then Mad Lions taking down Heroic, which leaves these 2 teams in the lower bracket, which of course is a best of 3. So we're definitely guaranteed to see a little bit more of Sprout than we saw yesterday. Hopefully not to 16-4s again, but we can see obviously Mad Lions making it all the way to the semi-finals on Sunday. They've cemented their spot there. They looked absolutely unbelievable yesterday, but unfortunately, we have to focus on these lower bracket games because it is elimination time for one of these 2 teams is going home.
Absolutely, and I just saw MSL walking around. I'm sure he's going to look at that game because North is waiting for the winner. And that's a big advantage as well. In the decider games, you get to see, first of all, you get to see the veto and see what map they want to remove, what map they want to pick. You could counterpick them in the next veto system, and you need to see everything they're doing. It's from one game to the other. There's just going to be a couple of hours. There's not going to be much room to change your game. So if you're North right now, you're watching this game very closely.
Well, speaking of the map picks, I think it's about time to get into our map veto to see how this one is going to be playing out. What are you guys expecting from this veto?
I think Heroic are probably going to veto out Dust too. Now, one thing I am curious about, if it was me, I would be picking Overpass if I'm Heroic, but I think they're going to be picking Nuke. I'm not sure about that one.
My first surprise here is that Sprout would allow Vertigo to be in the mix. Because Heroic could pick Vertigo. They actually could go for it. If I'm Heroic, the one thing I want to do is go on a tactical map. We know Sprout, for the viewers maybe not familiar, that's a new lineup. They've been put together quite recently. I don't think they have the depth, tactically speaking, to go up against Heroic. So if I'm Snappy, I want to push them on a very tactical map. Now, Vertigo is just open. They actually go for Nuke. Nuke was a possibility. Now that Overpass was out. Inferno for Sprout, I'm not that surprised. Even when I was playing with them, I helped them a little bit in 2018. Inferno was already in the mix. Dennis, Speedy Faven, they like the map. Third map, Mirage. It's not that bad for Sprout. You have Inferno and Mirage, who are, I want to say, kind of basic maps in terms of tactics. They haven't changed that much recently. So I think they're pretty happy with this veto.
This is certainly the best case scenario coming out for Sprout. I think that first veto of Overpass really saved them, having the cojones to float that Vertigo, because we know Heroic love that Vertigo pick, but it's actually Heroic that ends up vetoing out that Vertigo. I think there may be some sort of trauma coming out of Heroic. We've seen them.
From where?
We've seen
Where's
them
trauma?
picking out that Vertigo versus North versus Astralis, thinking that they're going to be the best Danish team on that map, and it didn't work out for them. So that sort of trauma might still be lingering a little bit.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that. So
Yeah.
I was looking at the numbers thinking Vertigo could be an absolute punishment, but you're right. If there has been a traumatic experience, maybe they don't want to go back to that.
Now, Posse, if you were picking one player to watch in this entire series, who would that player be?
It's got to be Oscar, I think. I think yesterday, of course, we saw a lot of nice moments coming out of D-Ha, but Oscar coming back into a competitive lineup after he's been away for so long, he was such a player that was a namestay within the top tier operas all around the world. And I think he's one of those players that you can really miss because he's not a very flashy player. He's not the most mechanically gifted where you're watching him and you want to copy exactly everything he's doing, but he's a closer. He makes the good decisions in order to play those post plants to his strengths. And I think having an opera like Oscar on your team is absolutely impactful.
Yeah, undoubtedly. Moving over to that Heroic side, who would you be siding with, Maniac?
I mean, we can go for a mirror matchup and think about Cadian, right, as an AWP as well.
Yeah.
I think his path as a professional player is also interesting, right? He had rough periods. He had periods without a team. He was trying to fight back, trying to stay in the circuit, and he actually successfully did so. Now he's back in Heroic, a relevant team. He's doing his best, and I like that he brings not only in the server, because I think that the half comeback they did against Mad Lions was precisely because of Cadian and his AWP, but also outside of the server. I mean, when you look at him playing, he gives everything he has the emotion, he brings the fire to the game, and I think that is very important for a team to have that kind of energy. So I want to go for Cadian.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I totally remember watching him a year and a half ago, I think it was, with North back at the minor, and his emotions, they were definitely good when the team was doing well and doing everything they were supposed to be doing, but when the team was slowing down a little bit, that was when you could see those emotions also impacting him and impacting the team. So I'm interested to see exactly what he's going to be doing coming into this. Obviously, sort of his new debut in this Heroic lineup. I'm super excited to see what is going to be going on with those guys. But speaking a little bit more about Heroic, what are you kind of expecting as from them as a team? Because obviously we saw them facing up against Mad Lions yesterday. It was a 16-10 loss for Heroic. You expecting bigger things from today?
It wasn't that bad of a showing, to be honest. I also thought that Mad Lions had the best, stacks and gambles and reads, so you got to give props to Handel in that regard. But I thought that individually speaking, names like Stam did actually what he had to do. Cadian was trying to fight back with the AWP. I do expect a little bit more from Estetag. I think he was one of the main reasons why Heroic went up the rankings, his rise as a player, because he's got benched a few months ago and he get back into the team, has a beautiful performance. I was missing him yesterday a little bit, but it wasn't so bad. Heroic, they convinced me, they did put up a fight. Now they go up against a different kind of opponents, but they should be superior.
Yeah, totally agree with that, Cadian. Obviously, having a little bit of a wave to the camera, he's definitely a crowd favourite there. I kind of want to pick up on your point, because obviously Mad Lions were looking so good yesterday. It's almost unfair to be judging their first matchup against a team with such, high caliber in this tournament, heading straight to the semi-finals. It definitely was a baptism by fire for Heroic.
It definitely was, and I think Matthew is right when he says that it wasn't quite as bad as the scoreline shows for Heroic. It was really that second half where Heroic kind of faltered. Their T side, it seemed like they didn't have any of the answers coming out from the Lions side. I do think that this matchup should go a lot more differently. I think Heroic probably have already identified that they are the superior team on paper and in the server itself. So I'm thinking that they're going to be a completely different team coming into this series. Their T-side yesterday was a little stale. They were trying to play perfect Counter-Strike, not mess up against their Danish counterparts. But here in this matchup, I think they're going to be a little more loose. They're going to have the confidence to take a lot more duels coming into this series.
Yeah, and of course, their opponents will be the underdogs of Sprout. A hometown favourite, definitely. They've got 3 Germans on their side. We were talking a little bit about the map veto, and you're saying this is maybe the best case scenario for Sprout. Do you think it does favour them still, or do you think it's still in the hands of Heroic?
Favor might be too strong of a word. Let's be honest. Again, that's a new lineup put up together. Oscar and D-Ha joined only recently. But you're right to say they are home crowd favorite. They probably are. Speedy and Dennis have played in the German scene forever. They're basically national heroes when it comes to Counter-Strike. They've been around for so many years. Faven as well, German player. They probably have the crowd behind them. But let's be honest, there isn't much that we can give them in terms of advantage. Do they have probably a deeper tactic book? No, they do not. Heroic have been together for a longer time. More experience? Probably not either. Now, individually speaking, I think that's where the difference can come, and this is where it ties up to the map. When you play a map like Mirage, where you play a map like Inferno, I feel like maybe individuals will have the space to have the impact that you wouldn't have on Nuke, you wouldn't have on Overpass. So if people go crazy, like Oscar, like you were mentioning, I could see a world where it happens, but that's going to need an overperformance from Sprout.
Yeah, exactly. We're just looking at the scoreboard from yesterday's matchup, 16-4. Not the best showing for their opening matchup of the tournament, but there were some surprising plays, as you were saying, with how are we pronouncing his name now? Daha?
Diha?
Diha?
I think we're doing Diha.
Diha. That's what we're going
Tomorrow,
with.
maybe it's going to be a different one, but today is Diha.
Diha, right, okay. In the mindset of Diha. We were kind of talking about his kind of showing yesterday was pretty decent still, even though the scoreline doesn't really reflect it.
Exactly, and I think it's pretty good showings and good signs for D-Haw to be able to pull out rounds, the type of rounds that he did yesterday, even at such a deficit, even losing by the huge margins that they were. But, I mean, it's really got to be pound for pound. The individuals, we have to go back to that. Sure, if Oscar shows up and if D-Haw shows up, they're going to have a fighting chance. But when I'm looking at these players pound for pound, I'm just not seeing Sprout being able to come out on top of these duels that they're going to be taking here.
No, I have to agree with you, and the problem as well is that Counter-Strike at the highest level is a game of such details that a team like Heroic, they have the procedures, they know how to go about rounds. You would have to assume that Sprout have to come up with ideas on the fly because the preparation is really here. So what it means, a tremendous pressure on the individuals. If we do not see individuals shine, there is no way Sprout can outplay Heroic. That's not going to happen. Whereas Heroic, they have a game style, they have a plan, they know how to go about the rounds, they can focus on the crosshair. So can it happen? Yes. Very unlikely.
Well, I think that's a perfect segue into our predictions for the second best of 3 of the day. I think I'm going to start with you, Maniac, for this one.
So you can actually position yourself compared to me. That is a very safe way to do that.
I think that's what we're going for.
Listen, all indexes point out to Heroic. I'm going to go with Heroic, the experience, the showing yesterday. Individually speaking, you're right. I think they have more pound for pound, so I'm going to side with the Danes.
I have to echo that as well, although I do think that Sprout should be able to put up some sort of a competitive edge here just because of the maps. I want to see Oscar coming back and showing us exactly what he's made of. I want to see a little bit more of D-Haw. I feel like he teased us yesterday with a little bit of what he's capable of, but I do got to say also Heroic are going to probably be taking the series.
Yep, I also agree with that. Heroic. Oh, producers don't like that in my ear. I'm expecting a little Sprout logo to come up, but it's not. It's fine. It's Heroic. I'm going to be siding with those guys, but I do agree with you in the sense that I do want to see more from Sprout, and it's best of 3, so we are going to be seeing at least 2 maps from them. We'll be back with the second best of 3 of the day after this break. Don't go anywhere.
Today, I don't care what you think of me. You know what I think of you. And this time I'm on my way. I know just what to do. Yeah. I'm back on top and I don't need anybody else. Yeah. I'm back on top and I don't need anybody else. I'm back on top and I don't need anybody else. Yeah. I'm back on top and I don't need anybody else. No. I don't care what you say to me. I don't care what I say to you. 'Cause this time I found my way. I know just what to do. Yeah. I'm back on top and I don't need anybody else. Yeah. I'm back on top and I don't need anybody else. I'm back on top and I don't need anybody else. Yeah. I'm back on top and I don't need
Our second game and second elimination match is coming right up. One team goes home, one team progresses to fight another day. And I think most people would agree with what the desk came down with, that Heroic are the favorites coming into this game.
Surely. We didn't see anything yesterday that indicates that Sprout were on the level Heroic are today. That being said, I like what Christine said. I think this could have a competitive edge as well. We saw DreamHack yesterday. He showcased some of that individual skill we know he possesses. We know Oscar, potentially the best player on the entire server. He probably has to fight against Down on that title, but Oscar the most proven, the most experienced, and he's a guy that can take over an entire game by himself. So, if he's having a great game today, I could definitely see this be a close and a very competitive game. That being said, Heroic favorites for sure.
Yeah, I can't really add anything to that. We're hoping we'd get some close games. Today has been pretty one-sided. I expected it to be much closer between VP, but we've already been over that at length. Now, jumping on to Sprout. Obviously, they do have 3 players on home soil. They are probably the second favorite, I'd imagine, behind Big, which has a huge, huge following here. They always do when they come to Leipzig. It's always a very loud crowd for them. But realistically, kicking things off on Inferno, how do you feel this one's going to come down?
I think it's going to be tough for Sprout. I think Heroic is a very well-structured team. They have a fine idea of how they want to play and process with the Counter-Strike they're playing. I think they have a lot of different players as well who can be a bit of a pity to the Sprout lineup. The guy on the screen right here, Stavan, potentially the biggest talent we have in Denmark right now, and considering Denmark is the best country in terms of Counter-Strike, I think that's, you know, a title that he can be very proud of. S-Attack, another guy that we don't give him a lot of credit, but he's a very strong player as well. Cadian has said, you know, not necessarily the strongest AWP player out there, but he's a player that always have impact, and he's a smart player as well, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. So if Oscar wants to get into this game, then it's most likely not going to be against Cadian, but he'll have to find the riflers of Heroic who are a little bit more aggressive and more potent to make those mistakes. So I see a lot of great signs for Heroic going up against a team like Sprout, but as said before, I think Dia and I think Oscar can be the 2 keys that can really rattle out Heroic, and they're not that strong. I think people tend to overrate them a little bit right now. It's a strong lineup, it's a fundamentally sound team, but it's not a top 15, not a top 10 team as of right now. So if Sprout is having the day, we could definitely have a competitive game, and we could definitely see the crowd help them out as well.
Sure, I mean, you know, after the player break, after a lot of teams have gone off the boil a little bit, a lot of roster changes, never quite sure what to expect from this. I think that's one of the key storylines of VP, for example. We saw North yesterday. We had the privilege to cast that game where they absolutely destroyed on Dust 2. And we thought, okay, the gauntlet's been laid down for which of these Danish teams is going to kind of put themselves head and shoulders in second position behind Astralis. I think that conversation is still very much on the table, and no team has completely taken that for themselves just yet.
Especially considering that Mad Lions bested North yesterday, right?
Yeah.
They beat them on Mirage. That was quite impressive, and I think, I don't know if you would say it was unexpected, but it was definitely not, you know, a matchup I would have thought would be that one-sided, and the way they did win was in quite a fashionable way. I don't know, right now the whole conversation about being the second best Danish team is starting to bore me a little bit, because I don't think they should be focusing on that. You know, whether you're the second best or the third best doesn't really matter. Denmark is a very strong Counter-Strike team, and as we talked about yesterday, a strong Counter-Strike country, that is. As we talked about yesterday, we have the skill sets, or the players within Denmark have the skill set in order to have potentially 3 teams within the top 10. Whether you're the second best after Astralis or you're the third best, if you're in that, you know, category of being a top 10, top 15 team in the world, you're doing a good job. So maybe not focus too much about that, focus more on yourself and just make sure that you win this tournament if you have the ability to do so. If that takes down, you know, if that lays down the gauntlet to be the second best Danish team, then so be it. But for now, I just want to see the Danish team perform, and I want to see them focus on themselves instead of constantly worrying about each other and how each other's results are.
Yeah, and again, we went back to what we saw yesterday with a lot of the teams saying, look, the pressure's off. Sprout came out and Dennis said pretty emphatically, this is the group of death for us. You know, we're the heavy underdogs. We're not really expecting to go too far. Many people aren't expecting us. There may be some of that pressure that's off them. More pressure on Heroic to deliver, because I feel like most people would agree they definitely are the favorites, even with what you brought in there. That, yeah, there are some skilled players on Sprout. There's no doubting that. But it's a lot of maybes, ifs, and buts. There's nothing you can absolutely guarantee and lock down as saying, like, Oscar will come out and carry, DreamHack will come out and carry. At the end of the day, many people hadn't seen DreamHack play until yesterday. So there's a lot of unknowns and uncertainties regarding this guy.
And that's the thing, right? Because when we're banking on Sprout to make this game competitive, we're banking on the unknowns. We're banking on maybe Oscar is coming out having one of those series. Maybe Dennis finds another level. Maybe the guy on your screen right here, Diha, is going to come out and be a great player. We don't know that. We'll just have to hope.
We'll have to hope, and we'll have to wait after this short break, guys. We've got a couple of technical issues. I know that you are going to be very disappointed the yodeling has stopped, but we are back. The CS is here, ladies and gentlemen. Are you still there in the audience? There's
still a few out there, yeah. I hear them loud and clear. I heard they also rooted for Sprout in this occasion. I think that's fair enough considering where those players are from. Heroic, we talked about it before we headed into this extended break. They are the favorites coming into this one, but if the home crowd can give Sprout some extra energy, as I said before, I think this could be a very competitive and a very fun game to watch.
Completely agree with that. I do wonder how the technical issues may have stalled some of the players. They were nearly there, we were about to go live, and then obviously we had some headset problems. So let's hope that everyone's had enough time to warm up, get themselves mentally clarified, ready to get into this game, because at the end of the day, we've seen VP already go out. One team is going to leave us after this best of 3 is finished.
Yes, and I think both these teams would be fairly disappointed if it were them who had to leave. Sprout obviously on somewhat of a home soil, going up against Heroic, a team that we expect a lot from. But let's see what they can do. Dennis got a P250 in hand. Man on a mission, Burp, checking for some information. He didn't spot these 3 guys. That was actually quite interesting. Maybe that could mean that Heroic is going to rotate towards the small bomb site at some point. But right now, they're actually ready for this apartment push. The bomb is moving up together with 2 other guys. Snappy is in boiler, and he's ready to it. There's going to be 4 guys towards this one. Vince, this is going to end bad.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't bode well for Sprout for the time being, and the bomb's gone down first. It's all the way of Heroic. Cadian with 2, Burup's going to triple in, and it's only Dennis that's really bounced back, and he is now the last man alive. Last seen over on Banana side, and there's a whole bunch of Danes charging him down. Heroic is going to claim first blood in this best of 3.
Yeah, I wonder if that was just, you know, a coincidence that Heroic had the perfect counter for that exact strat, or whether there was something they've, you know, watched a few demos, they've seen a tendency. Maybe that's a pistol round they've done before. Maybe that's, you know, the go-to pistol round, whatever. They really want to win a game. I don't know what that could be, but that seemed like Heroic knew exactly what was going to happen in that round. Sprout got completely decimated, didn't stand a chance. And they're forced into another eco right here, only investing in a few pistols. Going up against the MP9 of S-Tech. It's going to be rough. Getting the first kill. Oh, did that transpire. Dennis going down to Staven as well. And pretty much round over. And then it's all going to be about the farming for Heroic in this one. And Sprout, seemingly, if they can get 1 or 2 kills, that'll be a success. If not, it'll be fine as well. They have no business in this round anyway.
Yeah, as you say, if Heroic can put those MP9s to more use, it's going to be able to farm up the cash. The Sprout may try and feel where they think the M4s are going to be residing, and Cadian and Snappy going to be putting this round to rest as we anticipated. Not a single casualty going down, but Sprout now have some decisions to make regarding their future and their buy.
Sure do. Should be a somewhat reasonable buy coming in. AK-47s, I'd expect a few SGs as well to be bought up on the side of Sprout. That's exactly what we're going to see. Some AKs, 1 SG, and a Galil on Spitty. Decent amount of utility. They have 5 smokes, so they can definitely do some sort of execute late into the round if they want to smoke off certain areas. We'll have to see and wait for that to transpire, though. Banana control is not going to be obtained by Sprout. They're not willing to fight for it. Heroic is spending a lot of utility, a lot of manpower towards Banana to make sure that they get the control, and that's always a good idea when you have MP9s in the mix. You want to get up and close, and Banana is a great position for that to happen now. Sprout, in the meantime, gaining some control towards the apartments, always a good counter to that. So this is panning out as you'd like to see it pan out. You know, a default round from Sprout and a default response from Heroic.
Diha, the pole, moving into apps. But deciding against playing aggressively, mid-control is open for business. Should Sprout choose? Good Molotov down, going to force this attack into the open, and he has been found and fragged by Faven. Another play to his left-hand side, though. And Sprout seemingly interested in the potential wraparound. They have the bomb still banana, but Heroic, still 2 players there, laid in wait. They go in here and don't check the angle. This is where Stamit's MP9 could really wreak havoc. They are going to check it, but he still comes out ahead. Now the bomb's gone down as well, and the wraparound is going to be really null and void at this stage. They have to go back and pick it back up again, and this is allowing the rest of Heroic now to move around in Library. I think they realize what's happening. They're going to be rotating back to the side as well, Heroic. Time is dwindling away, only 15 seconds to play with, and they've got a crossfire established. This looks like it's just going to slip away, or perhaps not. DreamHack, entry frag. Stamit tries to spray through the smoke, but Oscar is going to put him down, and a bomb plant to boot. Snappy now going to even the odds at 2v2, but he is separated from his teammate, which is moving through the CT side, and Dennis has spotted him, so they know where these final 2 CTs currently are positioned. Molotov being tossed to the back of the site. That's going to force DreamHack out into the open, and his teammate's gone down. They do have a kit left, and it's going to come down to Borup versus DreamHack, and with 2 health remaining, the clutch goes the way of Sprout.
And we saw that potential from DreamHack yesterday. Despite the fact that Sprout lost 16-4, they didn't really stand a chance yesterday in Dust 2. We saw glimpses of DreamHack with that rifle in hand. Yesterday was the M4, today it's the AK-47. That was a beautiful little play right here, and he's keeping Sprout in the game. The retake almost worked out for Heroic. I like the Molotov coming in from Snappy. Pressured him out of his preferred position. DreamHack said, no, I'm not gonna have it anyway, I'm just gonna kill you. That worked out perfectly fine for Sprout. That was the good response we wanted. The only problem here is that they only survived 1 player, so the money is gonna be rough on the side of Sprout, regardless of winning that round. So another big round coming up here.
Players seemingly may have a bit of an issue again.
We're experienced in that now. We tried it, you know, we can handle, we can contain. We can talk about that guy on the screen right there, Cadian. I think he's gonna have his handful in this game. He's going up against Oscar on the other side. And what a signing that is for Sprout when you look at it, right? Oscar is a player that I personally, at a certain point, you know, I was thinking that's a player who potentially could take over for Guardian in a team like FaZe Clan, for an example. That's the level he has when he's in his absolute best shape. We all remember Oscar in Hellraisers when he was one of the best AWP players out there. He's super annoying to play against, super good. Now somehow Sprout got their hands on him, and he's a great signing for them. And as said before, Cadian going up against Oscar, it's going to be a wild duel. And to be fair, despite Cadian being a friend of mine, I don't see how he's going to win out on that one. I think Oscar is a much better player with the AWP in hand, so that's definitely an area where Sprout has an advantage going up against Heroic.
Yeah, and Cadian's an interesting story as well, because, you know, we were talking about the likes of AZ and Cajun yesterday when we were commentating them and talking about them having a fairly up and down sort of career. And Cadian at one point had quite the dip, but it seems like he has started to get back up to that sort of form that we know and love from him. He is such a good guy, a great character as well, great to watch, a huge fan favorite. So it's good to see him back again.
It is great to see him back. He's a player that has a lot of potential. He's a smart player. He understands the way of playing Counter-Strike. He's a good player to have on your team in that aspect. He's also a good mood spreader. Like he's always fun to be around, trying to lighten up the mood, even though that you may be losing in a certain game or you just went out of the tournament. He's always trying to keep a smile on his face, and that's sometimes, you know, a very underrated asset to have on your team as well. So definitely has a place within the ranks of Heroic, definitely has a place within Danish Counter-Strike. His potential, though, it seems like it's stagnated a little bit. If you want to talk Cadian, he's never going to be a top 5 AWPer in the world. He's always going to be rock solid, and I think that's his place, and I think that's a fine asset to have as well. But in terms of, you know, is he ever going to be able to contest a Kenny S or an Oscar for that matter in terms of raw skill? I don't think we've seen that from Cadian, and most likely are never going to see that. But doesn't make him a bad player by no means. He's still a very great asset to this lineup, and ever since he joined Heroic, they've gradually gotten better. So that can also be down to him, you know, having an impact on the lineup. He used to be an in-game leader as well when he was in NA, so Snappy has someone to talk tactics with and bounce off ideas with. He adds a lot to a team, and I'm happy on his behalf, and happy for Heroic that they found the solution.
Well, hoping the solution has been found for the tech issue. We did see a thumb up there from the player. Hopefully that's a good sign. Still very early days in the best of 3. If you have just joined us, Inferno map number 1. Nuke is up next, and then Mirage if we need it as the decider. This is an elimination match, of course. And the other two teams are also Danish from Heroic's perspective. You got Mad Lions and North.
Yeah, we saw Heroic go up against Mad Lions yesterday. Wasn't able to beat them. Simply wasn't. I think that was the first sign of life from Mad Lions in this tournament. Obviously, they went on to beat North in the winners game in this group, qualifying straight into the semifinals. I don't think many people would have expected them to beat both Heroic and North yesterday, but they did. Heroic, that's definitely a loss they would have liked to be without, because there is this, as you said, this talk about who is the second best Danish team right now. Is it North? Is it Heroic? Or is it Mad Lions? And judging by yesterday, well, Mad Lions got the upper hand in that duel right now. Lots can still change throughout this weekend, but without Heroic winning right here against Sprout, there's not going to be a rematch against North. There's not going to be any talks about them being the second best team. That's going to be them out of the tournament. So everything is at stake here as we progress with the game. 2-1 for Heroic. Cadian on the AWP. Oscar not able to afford one this round, so we'll see how that's going to pan out.
Tag burning alive, has to use the smoke just to save his own life, but he's still going to go down. The Molotovs in Counter-Strike. Sometimes they make you pull your hair out.
Yeah, as we see Cadian take down Oscar. Oscar didn't have an AWP in hand, but Cadian won that very first duel of the game. That's going to give him some confidence as well. Finding impact with the big green straight away. It's always a great sign. 4 versus 4 here. It seems like Sprout want to go in towards this small bomb site. There's 2 players already here. Stown in a pretty open position. He's going to rotate into the Molotov. Failed a little bit. Stavi there to help him out. Faven gets the refrag, and now it's all up to Staven to keep this bomb site alive, and he cannot do it. Cadian coming in. The rotation is fast, hitting the first shot. Connecting the second one through the barrel as well. Putting down Speedy to 26 HP, and now the bomb goes down. A 2 versus 2 retake scenario. And there's still a decent amount of utility on Borup.
Has an incendiary, which is just about to toss out. And a smoke as well. Starting to move in towards the site. Good peek from DreamHack. Going to headshot and doubles up. Both players low. This guy continues to impress. What a hold in the end from the T's.
And look at the impact he's had so far in this game. It's basically 2 rounds towards Sprout now, and that's 2 rounds down to DreamHack. The entry coming in right here, that is a naughty little headshot, and another one right here. Look how he used the pole to grant some cover and then peeks out straight away again. That is some high-class Counter-Strike right there, and that's putting a spin into the money of Heroic. They're investing everything they have into this round. It's going to be pistols, it's going to be smokes, grenades, but that's it. No big guns, no rifles in the hands of the Heroic players. So they're going to bank everything on this one. If they lose this one, then Sprout off to a good start. DreamHack, though, getting caught off guard by Cadian. It was starting to look good for the young Pole, but that wasn't necessarily a great play by him. Snappy as well now, gaining a lot of map control. He's going to walk all the way into the apps of the side of the terrorist. Now, you want to see Sprout, they want to hit this bomb site fast, so it doesn't really matter whether Snappy is from behind or not.
Nice attack using the smoke and flash screen to try and push round the back of the T's. Staven, nice attack of going to town. Not only is it all 1 player left for Faven, but everyone's still alive for Heroic. There's so many guns they can pick up. Faven's going to make sure the clean sweep does not come into effect. And he's going to dart away with the bomb, which he still has control over. So, if Heroic are a bit slow in the rotation, there is still a way back in for Faven. He is full HP. Does still have a flashbang to his name as well. Now, of course, there's no way of him knowing they've completely vacated the site. Now he's going to find Borup. Headshot connects. And Faven's still alive to tell the tale. At this point, Esatag just wants to wait for the rest of his team to make a move around through middle so they can all push in together. If they give Faven separate 1v1 trades, he will end up winning this round more than likely because the firepower is so stacked in his favor. But they're going to be coming round the corner. Jumping up is Staven. He's put down and Faven keeps going. He keeps landing shots. And this is where the lack of a kit and nades is going to hurt Esatag. It's looking good for Faven to clutch this round out. He's going to be coming around the corner and Faven's been fragged. But there shouldn't be enough time for the bomb. I believe it's going to detonate. It's going to be very close indeed to defuse. But it's not going to happen. Faven clutches it.
A 1 versus 5 essentially from Faven. You said it yourself, Heroic a little bit slow on the rotation, but that doesn't matter in a scenario like this. You're 4 guys alive against 1. That headshot right there, that started the entire thing. Both getting caught off guard on the bomb side, and then Faven playing it absolutely perfect. Finding one by one and connecting all the shots. Couldn't kill S-Attack, but that didn't matter at all, as you said. No defuse kit in the hands of Heroic, and he did it. He made it happen. I was just about to say, as soon as we saw signs of life from Sprout, as soon as we saw a team that was starting to look good, they completely fell short in this round against all the pistols. But this guy on your screen right here, he said no, ain't having it. Let's try to win the game, and he did it. A 1 versus 5, we don't see that often, do we?
Certainly not. Unbelievable, really, all things considered, and straight away, now a tactical timeout has been implemented. Maybe just trying to shimmy around some ideas. I mean, the thing is for Heroic, yes, they killed 4 players, but they did 4 spy in that round, so it doesn't really leave them with much. You're always trying to weigh up the risk versus reward, and they've decided it's not worth it. So they're going to tap out with just some nades instead.
Super important round for Sprout. Could very well be the moment that you're going to refer to after this game is over and said that's where they want it. Class 1 versus 5 from Faven. Now, how are they going to respond back, as you said? Not investing too much into this round. As P250s, there's been a little bit of utility, but it's all been spent now. And Sprout, they're just going for the classic explode out of A-apps. 1 single flash. Snappy's not getting blinded. He has the possibility of getting a frag. Not able to connect it, though. Faven continues where he left off last round, and this should be relatively easy for Sprout to clean up. Pistols all over the map.
The early damage was inflicted with the HEs being tossed down middle. But Spitty and DreamHack will live to tell the tale, it would seem. Unless the bomb maybe finishes them off. That could be in the back of Heroic's mind, hence them playing more for exit frags, trying to grind out these kills where they can. And obviously with losing 4 players in that last round for Sprout, if they do lose 2 or 3 players here, it could actually catch up with them, even with a bomb plant.
Definitely. Very important they stay alive as many as possible. You want to build up a bank, you want to build up a cushion to fall back on should you lose a round or 2 throughout this half, and that's something we haven't seen. They're actually moving in for the bomb here, but not finding anyone. It's going to be Cadian going down together with Stout and Oscar, getting another frag to his name, and a great start by Sprout here, putting 4 rounds on the board after losing the pistol round. A great response back. That 1 versus 5 from Faven. Can't forget it. Super impactful.
Yeah, and it kind of crept up on us, didn't it? He gets the first kill on Banana, and you're thinking, okay, well, still, he's got the bomb, but surely Heroic got this in the bag. And then just kill after kill after kill.
Yeah.
Pretty unreal.
Pretty unreal. Shouldn't really happen on this level, but sometimes it does, and you gotta give all the credit to Faven. He played it absolutely perfectly fine. Didn't make a single mistake and capitalized on all the mistakes Heroic did. Now they find themselves in a position for the first time in the tournament. Leading a game. Actually got 4 rounds already. That's as many as they got in the first entire game. So off to a good start here. Maybe the crowd is also helping them out a bit. But again, you know, if you give guys confidence, work a lot with that. Banana control is being obtained. Faven goes down to the grenades. That's beautiful by Heroic. Molotoved him in, forced him into that position, and then double naded the 3 afterwards. There was planned before the round even began and executed it perfectly. Maybe a guy who can do a 1 versus 5, but can't run away from nades. Nothing to do about that.
Yeah, perfectly executed 1-2 combination. He is left on the canvas for the time being, while the rest of Sprout try and make a move up middle. Gonna have to contend with Cadian playing a slight off angle in the arches, not holding the tight angle, but more out to the side. Could catch them off guard when they come round. That's a big grenade, but no kills. I was assuming that he'd get at least 1 from that position, potentially more, and I'm sure he was feeling the same way. Grenades now coming onto short, the wrap around to the side. Snappy and Borup, the last bastion of hope. The bomb has been dropped down. Oscar peering, great headshot, and spinning from the side is going to strike 1-on-1. S-Attack faces off against Oscar. It's all but close, and S-Attack M4 will rip and tear through Oscar's head. Heroic do take the round, but at great cost.
Great cost. There was some insane shots hit by Oscar with AWP. They almost pulled that one back. Kind of wonder what S-Attack was thinking in this 1 versus 1. He was just jumping around and basically counting on Oscar being caught off guard. So that's how S-Attack's play, though. He's a very wild player. He has a great movement, and he's a very aggressive player as well. And this time around, worked out perfectly fine. Cadian on the AWP as well. Leg shotting Oscar, not taking him down. That was a little bit unfortunate. Maybe it was through the wall as well. The fact of the matter is there was no kill obtained. That was a good nade. Sprout putting down Staven to 40 HP. S-Attack down to 71. Trading some damage, but apart from that, nothing really transpired in this round so far. It's interesting to see how much Heroic values the banana control. They're not giving it up easily. They're sending 3 guys over there every round, spending a lot of grenades. Cadian out there with an AWP. The play could be to leave him alone at some point. Make sure you have 4 guys towards the big bomb site, or you just want to stack the smaller bomb site. And make sure you got your ass covered over there. Slowly but surely, nothing has really happened so far. It looks like Sprout want to take mid control though.
Has been more of a tentative round. Good Molotov, going to force Cadian away. Can't play aggressively, and as you highlighted, he has been left alone on the B side. This allows Heroic the luxury of having 4 players over on A. They still possess most of their grenades overall. They got 2 smokes, Molotov, couple HCs, plenty of flashbangs. They've had good utility management, but this is where Cadian's days may be numbered. He's about to be pressed from multiple Ts all at once. Are they going to smoke him off though? I think his spidey senses were tingling a little bit that this could be coming in. So Molotov is put down. No smoke on the coffins. Lots of damage inflicted. And they're going to be walking in to a bit of a trap. Essetag with the FAMAS from the side is spraying them down from CT. But Stavin has been caught, leaving Dennis alone. They know where he is, and Cadian will not miss out on his chance. 3 kills goes to the AWPer.
Yeah, there was a bit lackluster coming in from Sprout right there. They had the right read. They wanted to go up to the smaller bomb side and find Cadian all by himself. There was backup from CT spawn, but a single smoke should have been enough to cover that ground. But there simply wasn't enough utility to force Cadian off his angles. He was just sitting there and waiting for them to run into his crosshair. Not a single flash was thrown at his face at any point, and that was enough for him. Connecting another wild shot here, and DreamHack, Cadian off to a good start in this game. Sitting at 13 frags. We're talking about it before. Cadian, not necessarily a player that I would say is on the level of Oscar with the AWP under normal circumstances. Thus far in this game, by far the best player on the server, and he's really having an impact so far. Another opening kill here. It is against pistol, so this round it doesn't really matter, but the round before, beautiful. Missing on 1 bullet here, but able to clean it up, most likely also with the USP, putting 15 frags to his name in 9 rounds. Strong start by the Dane. 5-4, a game that is going a bit back and forth. We see Oscar buying up the AWP now. Hopefully we can have that duel going on. Cadian would have spawned towards the A bomb site and the B bomb site, so let's see what that leaves us with.
184 ADR for Cadian in the 10th round. That is some spicy CS.
Not bad, is it?
Very well done indeed. And he will have a decent enough spawn to peek down middle. Doesn't feel compelled to go for the T-steps peek though. Essetag finds some information. There's the aggression that Pimp was discussing just before, and he goes in again. He may even peek behind this flashbang, and he has been rewarded for his ruthless aggression with a kill onto Favin. The heroic play from a bygone round. Stavin in the meanwhile, though, is going to be left alone, hence the quick rotation from Cadian with his AWP. We've seen this before, as have Sprout, but they do trail by a player with 1:15 to go.
And again, the banana control, it's so vital for Heroic to constantly have a presence out there. We saw Virtus.pro play Inferno. They didn't want to fight banana at all. They just gave it up every single round, and that's the difference of style between Heroic and a team like Virtus.pro, for an example. Heroic, they're not giving up that banana control at all, and now look at all the information they're gaining. Stavin is able to push all the way down. He can catch them off guys in middle, and he gets one, not the second one. No, Speedy with the trade frag, and another guy coming in. That's Cadian, putting Speedy to sleep, and it's now all up to Oscar with the AWP. Not able to connect, and Cadian with another frag and another impact round from this young guy. 17 frags, and Heroic slowly but surely starting to stabilize after losing that 1 versus 5. Let's not forget, had Favin not been successful with that round, we would be looking at a much more loop-sided scoreline here for Heroic.
And a strange thing, this kind of echoes what we saw yesterday. When Sprout were getting their rounds, Favin had a big play on B, we had DreamHack with a massive play from Pit. It is starting to feel like a little bit of deja vu. Of course, we are very early stage of this best of 3, but Heroic seemingly starting to shift into gear. Cadian again going to be playing on the arches. Meanwhile, double play on Banana. Dennis does 1D Stavin, so that leaves Essetag alone. Cadian's going to rotate. He's also going to throw the weapons away just to make sure that Sprout can't get their hands on the fallen M4.
Oh, that was a bit of a shame. Exactly, Favin picked up that extra smoke. Had Essetag put out the smoke in front of him, he could have smoked off Banana and picked up an extra smoke for himself. Wouldn't have made it much easier for him to defend the B bomb site by himself. on the A bomb side. Now Sprout, again, they're just waiting for a mistake to be made. They got 2 smokes, I believe, 2 flashes, so they could try to execute into this bomb side, isolate S-Attack at new boxes. Cadian is most likely going to be smoked off here. There we go. Molotov comes in from him, so there's a chance for them to take over the side. S-Attack finding the first one, though. Standing tall. Also able to get the second one, and then slowly but surely starting to fall apart. Favin with a refrag here. Cadian staying alive, just waiting for the backup. It's going to be a retake, but it's not going to work out, is it? Snappy already there from Banana, taking down the bomb, and it's now all left up to Favin. He did a 1 versus 5 before. 1 versus 3 with a deal, though. Highly doubt it.
Yeah, it's a whole different scenario for Favin. Back quite literally against the wall and has been shot down. 7 rounds now for Heroic. And it does seem like once these rifle rounds stabilized, they have really escalated their level quite considerably. And Sprout don't seem to be able to hang with them at the moment.
Not at all. Not at all. It's been a great start by Heroic, and as said, coming into the game, they are the clear favorites. They are supposed to beat a team like Sprout right now, but again, when you have Oscar on the server, when you have Dihan, who had a very strong start, we haven't seen anything from him the past 3 or 4 rounds. Need to get him kickstarted once again, then there's always a chance for Sprout to make something out of this game, but it's looking good for Heroic. The money is in full control as well. Have as strong as buy as they can get. AWP in the hands of Cadian. He's locking down this mid area. Now they're going to explode out of AFs. It's not going to be successful, is it?
It's not looking too good. It is an even trade. Now the C's starting to swarm and swell onto the site. And Burrup can't deal with it. Oscar, though, caught with a nade. He is going to give Heroic a way back in. Bomb still yet to be planted, but will be momentarily at the back side of the site. It is planted for Diha, however, in pit. Another smoke on balcony. A trifecta of Heroic in separate locations. Can pincer in together. Molotov going to force Diha out. Here come the flashes. Here comes the pain behind it. Snappy with his M4 is going to break the deadlock in this 3-on-3. Now it falls to Favin and Dennis to try and dig them out this ditch that is getting ever so more deep, and they can't get it done. Heroic with another successful retake.
And look at the team play Heroic just displayed in that situation. Snappy with a set smoke to make Diha second guess whether he was coming out or not from AFs, then Molotoving the pit position, and as soon as he was Molotov, somebody from quad side threw a flash, so he was completely blinded, so Snap could just walk out and kill him. That was some of the most perfect team play that I've seen in a long, long time. You know, the small details, the small flashes, the small utility grenade usage in a situation like this is gonna make the difference when you want to retake a bomb site like that. So beautiful stuff by Heroic. Once again, Sprout coming close, not able to finish it, and we said they had a decent start to the game. They were leading 4-2, but now lost 6 rounds in a row, trailing 8-4. It's not looking great for the somewhat German squad here.
3 Germans hoping that they can give the home crowd something to cheer about, but so far it has been the Danes that have reigned supreme. Second tactical timeout has been put down. Let's see if Sprout can do anything with this. Doesn't look to be that much different to what we've seen previously, and Dennis has caught a lot of damage from that grenade early on.
Another game where Oscar haven't found too much impact as well. He's currently sitting at 4 frags. Talked about him coming into the game as the X factor. He's the guy that are supposed to be the best player on the server. At least he can be. He used to be. But in this game so far, it's been rough for him. Obviously, the T side on Inferno is super, super rough to play with the AWP on, but you'd expect a guy with that skill set to still find some more impact.
That grenade bounces off the wrong side of the wall. Otherwise, Dennis would have been in real trouble. The player with the lowest HP count is the furthest forward. Hoping to lead the charge. S-Attack, but he does still have been out of control alongside his teammate of Savage. Cadian, uncharacteristically, the start of Inferno actually misses a shot. Proves he is human after all. And Dennis is making a move, actually trying to wrap around the back of B. I'm not sure Heroic know about this.
This could be very dangerous. Stavan, though, in a good position, especially with the SG. He can zoom in and he can finish the life of Dennis with ease, and he does so. Gets spotted out, though. So now Sprout knows there's at least one player towards this bomb side. S-Attack as well. Gonna double it up. Diha finding Snappy, other side of the map. Speedy walking in, getting the enemy now. It's all up to Stavan. He's not able to do it, and Diha finding a second frag, and all of a sudden this round falls apart for Heroic. Another one in the bank for Sprout, making that 8-5. And that's enough, you know. I'd say 6-7 rounds, you're still in the game, you can still make it competitive, you win the pistol, and then you're all on track again. Heroic letting this one slip out of their hands. Good stuff by DreamHack again, good stuff by Spitty. Finding some impact. He had a rough game yesterday, he started out rough today as well. Currently only sitting on 4 frags, but this round, he was an integral part to win it.
And although Dennis did go down without getting anything done in terms of kills, his aggressive play on the wraparound was so vital for Sprout. It did really throw a wrench in the works for Heroic. Here comes a boost though. Cadian peering down Banana, waiting for Pixel. I think he may have just caught the shadow. It's still flicked onto Speedy. Very nicely done. But Dennis again, gonna be looking to try and probe and prod the Archer's side. This time there'll be no wraparound. They're smoking off, allowing them safe passage. Sanctuary to go through on the A side. This is really locking down Snappy, who's stuck on the side. And Burp can't really help him with a smoke in his eye. He does spin across and lands a dink onto DreamHack, but that's not going to be good enough. And Oscar spinning for 2. That's why we said this guy has a ridiculous skill ceiling for moments like that. And Cadian can do little but back away and save his AWP.
That was a good read by Sprout. I think that was Spitty actually walking up Banana, telling his teammate, all right, guys, I think there are 3 guys towards this bomb side. You better hit the other one quick. And they did. Dennis wrapping around again together with a teammate. And then they just did a simple sandwich towards the bigger bomb side. And as you said, there was nothing Borup could do. Left in pit by himself. And another great read by Sprout. Another great round to win. And it's starting to mount up, you know, to a decent half for them. 6 rounds, as I said before. That's going to be enough for them to make the game competitive. Could they get the last one as well, make that 7, then we're looking at a good half by this German squad.
On their choice of Inferno, you have to assume their CT side is going to be pretty well drilled. Oscar on your screen. Just a quick glimpse of what this guy is capable of.
He's so good. He's so good, especially on a map that is a little bit more open than Inferno. I think when we go over to the CT side, that's when we get to see the real Oscar. And hopefully he can have just as much impact that this guy's had in the game. He's still sitting at 18 frags. He slowed down a bit, Cadian, but still doing a good job. And there we go. S-Tech being punished for the aggression towards Banana. It's finally starting to look good for Sprout. Somewhat in control of this game. They're the one controlling the pace. They're the one forcing Heroic into the rotations.
Cadian getting quite the workout, constantly having to rotate, but Stavin's able to hold a little bit longer. Push across from Cadian. Beautiful shot. And he's able to dart away with minimal health loss. Borup tries to line up the triple spray. Has tagged down DreamHack a little bit. Still 78 HP to his name though. Cadian, the meanwhile, has been put down to 24. But the rotation coming in from Snappy. There's still time for Sprout to play with. Maybe DreamHack can play the mind games. Snappy is watching the re-rotate. But DreamHack throwing up the Molotov, that is going to allow Cadian to know exactly where he is. Faking the bomb, trying to get a player to peek him from construction. But fair play to Heroic, they're playing this one very passive.
Super passive. Cadian falling all the way back into CT spawn. DreamHack has no idea what to expect at this point. He's getting the bomb plant for free here. But he could very well be caught off guard. He spots out Cadian. Not able to connect the shot. Cadian takes him down. And that is it. First half done and dusted. 9 rounds for Heroic. 20 kills for Cadian. That was another good round by him. That first flick right there towards Banana. That was a beautiful shot. Not something you normally see him hit all the time. But this game has been absolutely stellar. Best player on the server so far. Good start for Heroic. Whereas for Sprout, they fought their way back into the game and they made it competitive.
Absolutely did. Sprout are down, but certainly not out, trailing 9-6 on their choice of Inferno. Heroic started very well, putting 6 or 7 rounds together, but then Sprout came back swinging.
They came back swinging. We saw some individual heroics, not to forget the 1 versus 5 won by Favin. It's going to be a moment we can go back at and look whenever we want to get some inspiration for how to win some of those big clutches. Now, this pistol round is going to be vital for both teams, obviously, but more so for Sprout if they want to stand a chance. I have no idea how that nade completely missed. Spitty didn't do any damage towards Borup. Must have been a missed nade or something like that. Now Borup slowly but surely moving up towards Banana. The entire team of Heroic is actually going up here. Spitty is in for a big task now. 1 or 2 kills is needed. Otherwise, this could be tough. Got a smoke, though. Got backup from DH as well. Only 2 guys.
Yeah, shoulder peeking for information. Smoke out, Flash is going to follow it as well. And Spitty with 1 kill. That may not be good enough. D has smoked out, he can't really re-engage. Has to wait for the rest of the troops to arrive, and they are going to be momentarily. 2 of them up Banana, Snappy's block in prime position to strike, and strike he shall. Twice in quick succession. Both Favin and Oscar have been put down. And it's looking like Heroic are going to take the second pistol as well. Only losing Cadian in the process.
I tell you what, it's not like Spitty didn't do his job well enough right there, but the Spitty of 3 years ago, the Spitty that once were predicted to be one of the best players in Germany, potentially up there with Tapson. That's a position, that's a player that you'd expect to get more than 1 kill. It's so tough to retake this bomb site, especially in a pistol round, so when you're only left with 2 guys and you're the one having the smoke and the flashbang, you're not setting yourself up for success, but it's a tough, tough position to play in, and DH couldn't do anything to help him either. It's like, it's one of those rounds where nobody's really making a mistake. Spitty is doing his job as good as he can, but at the end of the day, it's just a correct call coming in from Heroic. There was nothing Sprout could really do about that, unless hitting some insane shots to turn around the round, but that wasn't the case this time. Now Dennis is up close with this Deagle. Could be able to catch off Staven. Has backup from his teammate, but that Molotov, that's going to push him out. I think he was hurt there as well. There he goes. Staven is ready and waiting for him. Not able to connect the kill, though. Dennis gets the kill and gets away with his life in his hand. Good start for Sprout. Maybe this is what they need to fight back. Winning this eco of 4 spy against Heroic, that could definitely be a great sign for the second half.
I am mind blown that Dennis survived that.
Yeah.
I was sure he was dead. As he said, the sound cue came through from the Molotov burning his feet. I think Staven was maybe assuming that he'd gone the other direction towards the staircase or back to balcony, but yeah, at least from Heroic's perspective, he wasn't able to claim the gun that was dropped, so there's going to be no assault rifle used against them. But 35 seconds coming up, and Sprout only now starting to press forward. Here comes the set play, here come all the nades. And Esatag gonna best DH. In the meanwhile, Snappy making a move through on the pools. Maybe he's not able to connect anything through the smoke. A bit of fortune maybe would have turned the tables and turned the tides. But how this round comes down, right idea, just slightly off, and the bomb will be getting planted. It has been finalized. Spitty going in for more, doing damage but not getting killed. And now Oscar's scout is next up to the chopping block. Dennis and Favin, couple low players. Could maybe starve some of the economy away, but Dennis has no interest. He's actually going hunting for that gun. He knows that Staven had an assault rifle. I think he's opting to try and pick it up.
I think you're right about that. There's nothing they can do about the outcome of this round. They had a slight chance, but again, Heroic, they're just grouping up. They have the utility, smoking off CT spawn, smoking off calls. Favin is walking in here, but doesn't have a kit, so he can't really do anything with it. And at the end of the day, he's actually going to survive the bomb here, I believe. There we go. Defending his armor, trying to pick up a kill, and he gets it on Esatag, putting on some more pressure towards the economy of Heroic. So that's a little win, getting the best out of a bad situation. But as you said, after the first kill from Dennis, you were thinking, all right, there may be a chance here for Sprout to fight your way back into this round. Wasn't meant to be. Heroic playing it perfectly again, just walking into the bomb site. A few smokes, a few grenades, that's all you need as long as you're together as a unit. And that's exactly what Heroic is doing so far on this T side. They're moving as a unit. You don't see them split up. You don't see them getting caught off guard. And even if they do, they regroup and they win the round anyway. So kudos to Heroic and kudos to Sprout as well for putting on some pressure. Oh, there we go. Another one from Dennis.
That was a mid-air 1D into Cadian. That must have been a hell of a shot. Would love to see that back. Oscar in the meanwhile is watching down middle. I was a bit surprised to see that Dennis actually didn't try and pick up that gun from the fallen stab, and maybe felt like there'd be players rummaging around there to save what he had. He did have a Molotov in his hands as well. But in terms of this round, an early 1-for-1 trade. Heroic, though, gonna have to try and navigate their way across to the B side. If they go A, it's a 4-player stack. So I think it's gonna get a little bit dicey. Oscar out for the peak, narrowly missing out the timing on Stavin, who is middle. He has now shown his presence with a kill onto Favin. Minimal damage exchanged in the process, but Oscar lining up the headshot and does connect it in style. That's going to be a Galil trading hands. At the very least, it would be worthwhile to maybe pull back and try and save that, but he's not going to be allowed the chance as Borup is in position to cut him down.
It's been a rough start for Oscar into the second half as well. I think that's the second time we see him getting caught off guard with a nade in his hand. One of the absolute worst ways to die in Counter-Strike. I'm sure you can relate to it, Vince, and I personally can as well. If you're feeling it, you're ready to go in, you're ready to go in and fight, and all of a sudden somebody runs around the corner while you have your grenade in your hand. It's so demoralizing and not fun, but that's how the game is sometimes. And Oscar has had that experience twice already, so hopefully he's out of his bad luck and can now move into the next round and do what he does the best, and that is killing with the AWP. Another round for Heroic here, 12-6 now. The scoreline is starting to mount up on the side of Sprout, but this is it. They can buy fully now. That is a naughty, naughty shot with the deagle right there from Dennis. That's 2 in a row, though. Maybe that's gaining him some confidence. We see Oscar back on the AWP. We see Spitty with a FAMAS, full utility. We actually see Diha as well picking up the AWP. So a double AWP setup on Inferno coming out in the first buy round. That's aggressive, but maybe that's exactly what they need.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. We saw them do it on Dust 2. Diha certainly is pretty solid with the AWP. Go for that boost. We saw Cadian also elect for, but it's only going to be at the cost of some HP to Diha. Takes a grenade, 23 health, evaporate. Molotovs planted down. And the floor is lava. They can't afford to push on it just yet. But they have already drawn out some grenades from Sprout, and there's not a great deal left considering how much time there is on the clock.
I think you're spot on when you're saying that. Not a lot of utility left on the Sprout side. Oscar leg-shotting Stavin or hitting him through the wall, putting him down to 31 HP. That's always something, but you're right, there's not a lot of utility left. Famine with a Molotov, Dennis with a smoke, and then a few flashes, but that's it now. Heroic, they're full with utility, have plenty of smokes, plenty of flashes. Using one of them to take mid-control. Dennis now using his smoke to stay alive. They're coming out of AFs, and it's going to be up to Favin and Dennis. That good little Molotov actually was turned out, and now Dennis is in a rough position in pit. Getting up of there alive, but that's it, it's falling apart from Sprout. And just as we were trying to build up the round, and Sprout actually got off to a decent start with Oscar leg-shotting Stavin, it just fell apart again. Not enough utility to stop this push from Heroic. Not a Molotov to make them disjointed or force one player to stay back and then have a duel that's going to go into your own favor. It's just too easy for Heroic just walking in as one big unit to the bomb site. They've done it throughout the entire T-half. They did it the first 3 rounds towards the small bomb site right here. Just walking in 4 guys and relatively easy winning the rounds, and the same was the case right here. Sprout needs to find some openings, or at least needs to find a way to put on more pressure on the default from Heroic. Otherwise, this game is going to be done and dusted, and it's going to go the way of Heroic, and I'm pretty sure that Sprout wouldn't want that.
They definitely won't, considering it's their choice of map on Inferno. So if they do concede this, especially if it is one-sided, certainly does not bode well going through into Nuke, which is a map that Heroic are no slouches on at all. So it could just go from bad to worse. I'm pretty sure they noticed that there were 2 AWPs on the battlefield for Sprout as well. So it could get a little bit worrisome. Is that a scout that's just been dropped? So 2 AWPs and a scout, okay.
Yeah, not exactly what I meant when when I said trying to do something. But let's see if they can find a way to make it work. S-Tag gets attacked through the wall and also getting some grenade damage. Another great start, deflecting some damage towards Heroic, but they need kills. They need to take down the manpower. Otherwise, he's still going to be a threat. Oscar with aggressive peek down middle. Diha receiving a nade to his head, but it doesn't really matter. There we go, that's a nice smoke. Denying Heroic control of the banana. So it's always something right here from Sprout. They're being proactive with it, they're trying. It's not like we saw Virtus.pro yesterday just sitting back and waiting to get killed. At least there's a fight in them right now. Question is, can they make it work with a scout and 2 ops, no utility? Only a few left and Dennis and Favin, but 3 players with nothing at all but the aim. Whereas for Heroic, haven't spent much utility so far in the round. And once again, they're moving as a big unit up towards the smaller bomb site. I'd be surprised if we don't see another execute coming into B.
And it's certainly looking like the most likely outcome. Essetag, who is low on 16 HP, is watching the back for a flank, trying to make sure that the reinforcements are stalled as long as possible, but they're going to be flanking through and rotating through the CT side. Molotovs everywhere, DreamHack turns, he's burning. They're going to have a DreamHack barbecue after all. Pretty now with a FAMAS, trying to line up 2 players, does damage, but no kills. Going to be coming through for him, or at least not enough to stop the bomb from going down. Oscar, does he have the right wall bang? No, he can't stop the bomb from being planted either. And it's starting to get a little bit scary, but Oscar is bringing this back into the realms of possibility, especially considering that Essetag and Stavin are so very low in terms of HP, but they're retaking with an AWP and a scout, not tailor-made weapons for getting back into the likes of the B side. Essetag also is going to have the drop onto Favin, who had no idea what was coming up. Here comes the Molotov, landing on their site, not required. As the AK round passes through Oscar's head, and now Dennis on a FAMAS has the arduous task of a 1-on-2. The first kill going to go his way, but Essetag on the drive-by headshot gets Heroic across to a 14-6 lead.
Another nice execute coming in from Heroic. You saw how DreamHack was being forced into the open. As soon as he was Molotov from the 3rd box, he went over to new box. Then a Molotov landed new box, and he was forced into the open, got a flash in his face, and he realized that either I'm going to die without having a chance just being blind, or I'm going to run in and barbecue myself. And as you said, who doesn't like a little bit of DreamHack barbecue? A shame, because he was in a good position to do something with Spitty, but again, Heroics executes. They're just too strong. The grenades are landing where they're supposed to, and there's a meaning behind it. So we get to see some of that structure, get to see some of that team play that we highlighted coming into this game being displayed here by Heroic.
And this is precisely why, when the tables were turned, Heroic were playing aggressive in CT, because it forces the Ts to use some of their grenades that they can't then use for the set plays. You can't have that wall of fire on the backside because you're using it to top a banana to the car. So playing more passive right now is kind of hurting Sprout, and that's why they're going aggressive, but it's just a 1-for-1 trade, and Spitty can't do a great deal to make the most and avenge as it smokes and flashes all around him.
Close to get another kill on Essetag, putting him down to 16 HP. It's not enough though. I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but you need to take down the manpower. We've seen plenty of times where a Heroic player has gone down to 10, 15, 20 HP, but as long as they stay alive, they're still going to be a threat. They're still going to be used in this chess puzzle. Another explosion coming out of AAPS. It's going to be up to Favin to defend this one together with a mate here on the bigger bomb site. Trying to fake, he's down in pit. He's not able to connect the first shot well enough. Now Oscar left by himself, and that's a rough position. He knows the out apps, he knows they can be down in pit. Keeps his cool though. Spitty can't help him, he's smoked off. There we go, Essetag, he's well aware that's a possibility, and he doesn't walk into Oscar either. He hasn't had a chance of connecting any shots thus far in the game, but he has to right now if he wants to keep Sprout alive in this round.
That's very well put. He has been countered pretty hard by Heroic. Hasn't had chances to really spread his wings and flourish. But with 30 seconds, they need a hero. And maybe it's time for Oscar to show Heroic they need to respect him. The barrel of the gun comes round, and Essetag, who is playing so slowly, gonna be rewarded. Spitty now will be getting the drop on multiple players. He's seeing where they all are. There's the first. He knows seconds in Graveyard. Does a lot of damage. It's a nice try. But Essetag with a 4K is going to get Heroic to 9 map points.
It's a bit of a shame, right? Because I feel the scoreline currently doesn't really reflect how close Sprout have been to make this game competitive. I have no doubt saying that Heroic right now are outplaying Sprout. They are the better team. They're winning the duels, and you can definitely see the executes and the whole game plan of their team side is much, much stronger than Sprout. But still, there's been a lot of close rounds, a lot of possibilities for Sprout to crawl their way back into this game. They just haven't been able to capitalize, and I would say a 16-6 scoreline, not necessarily reflecting how close it's been. Essetag through the smoke, aggressive towards Banana. He's got to have a lot of players running to his face. Only getting away with 1 kill. I think that's okay for both teams at this point. Cadian down to 44 HP as well. Taking some damage and being pushed away. This aggressiveness coming out from Sprout, that's what we would have liked to see from the get-go. If they started out the half by doing that, I think we would have been looking at a scoreline that was much, much closer. But it's always easy to be smart afterwards. And in hindsight, you can always say that, yeah, I knew. But at the end of the day, got to make the decisions. And this time around, Heroic has been making all the right decisions throughout this game so far.
Yeah, hindsight's always 20/20, and I'm sure when they go back to the demos, they'll definitely see a lot of the issues that you've raised, but in the here and now, they just have to scrap for every inch of the map. And that's going to include a Nova in the hands of Oscar, not a gun that you see a great deal of. Definitely can play with it though. Smoke, nade, and flash. 35 seconds, so time is starting to dwindle away. A well-timed smoke could feasibly force Heroic into an awkward position on the execute. They only have 1 Molotov at their disposal as well, which has just been tossed out. And the smoke's going to be coming in as well. 20 seconds to go. DreamHack navigating himself around the flashbang, but the second one is going to connect. Here comes Dennis through the smoke, but Snappy helps out Borup, has his back covered, and that could be all she wrote for Inferno, or perhaps not. Faven with a cheeky push through the smoke is going to stop the bomb from being planted down. Here comes the Nova. Oh, and it's not quite enough. 2 seconds to go, and Heroic get it done in Inferno, and next up is Nuke.
Next up is Nuke, a very dominant performance coming in by the Danes. Cadian having a very strong first half with the AWP, completely controlling all the areas, aggressive towards Banana, aggressive towards middle, great in the retakes, and Heroic as a whole outplaying Sprout right here. I said before, I think there was possibilities for Sprout to make this more competitive. They could have made it closer, but this time around, the Danes were just too strong.
Too strong indeed, and yeah, I think Sprout that definitely had a better performance than yesterday. But ultimately, Heroic just proved to be too much of an insurmountable task. And now we head to their home map, Nuke. It's a map that they've historically been really strong on. Danes as a whole, to be fair, just seem to love Nuke. It's a map that you always seem to do great on. And we're going to find out if they can take this 2-0 after this break.